Alright, so today we're going to be talking about kicker trees. That tree that's skint right in front of you, that's a kicker tree. I'm going to explain to you why we call them that and everything else about them. Y'all get ready. Alright, so we're going to watch a little truck pulling action here. We're on a little bit of a red clay hill. Truck's having to take off going uphill. It's slick. Trying to watch that trailer, make sure it don't start jumping over at me. There we go. It's trying to pan up for y'all and it wouldn't go. It's not falling out, it's just god awful slick. It I mean, I'm sure y'all ain't gonna believe me, but it rained another 1.5 inches, lo and behold. What you got there, Captain?
A piece of ice I found in that drag. There's another piece.
That almost looks like grapple tongs.
Yeah. Here?
Might have. But you know, it ain't cold down here, and them northerners are gonna tell us that it ain't cold. That's something normal to them. You'd think it done be, if it was up in here, you'd think it done be melted, some of it with the heat. But it was sitting right where that grapple would have been sitting on that wood, didn't it?
Wonder if it was where this.
I don't know.
Didn't go that cold to touch.
That's why it's called ice.
Ice. Where'd it come from? Water.
The sky.
This morning when I opened it, water didn't shoot out of it. So,
no crap, it's frozen.
it was 25 degrees.
It's wet and it's cold this morning. Alright, so we're going to watch Mickey work for a little bit while I kind of get started with the kicker tree stuff. We're going to watch Michael turn out of some rows after a while, and I'm going to give y'all a good visualization as to why we call them kicker trees. Some people call them turn trees, skin trees. We refer to them in our little part of the world as a kicker tree. Quick, I guess you'd say, definition on it. We call them kicker trees because as the skidder comes out of a down row into the access row, there's one tree on the corner that's always going to get skint because it is kicking the trees around if they're long enough. Like stuff like this is pretty nice and long. It's going to skin a tree on the corner. So you always try and leave a trash tree on your corner for your skidder to bump on. That way, if it is skint too much, you're not cutting a log out of your timber whenever you get done. You know, you're not killing a log tree because sometimes those trees will live, sometimes they will die. It all depends. So we'll get into all that a little bit more in a minute. Catch y'all up on what we got going on here. Today is a Monday. Well, today is a Tuesday for us. We worked, the last day we would have worked would have been a Saturday. Y'all got to watch that. We come out, I said last week we done really good. We ended up having a 50 load week for everything that's going on. And then Sunday, all hell is breaking loose again. We don't work Sundays. That's just the gist of it. We do not work Sundays, and if we do, something will be bad wrong. But anyway, over the weekend while we were off on Sunday evening, it decided it wanted to try and snow. It didn't actually fully snow here, just a good bit of mixture of rain and sleet and then some freezing rain. Not a whole bunch of freezing rain, very, very little bits. Now, 40 miles north of me, it snowed about 5, maybe 6 inches in places, which is crazy for my part of the world. Us, on the other hand, we got 1.5 inches of cold, 34-degree rain, which sucked horribly. It rained most of the night Sunday, so we didn't even try to attempt anything yesterday. We didn't even come out and look just because we knew it was going to be so nasty. Got here this morning. It's a good thing we didn't even try and come out yesterday because the roads are still in horrible shape this morning. As y'all saw over there a while ago, we're having to pull trucks. We're kind of on a little old red clay hill, and we're having to pull the trucks out. We have it's just part of the game this time of the year. It's great content for y'all. Sucks for us. It's cold this morning. Y'all saw the ice on Michael's skidder there. It's like this morning it was 25 degrees. For our part of the world, that's really cold. Somebody asked me in another video, how often do we see cold weather that cold? Usually between January and February we see, if I had to add up all the days that we see freezing temperatures, I would say we might see 14 days where we actually see below 32-degree temperatures. I may be wrong on that. To give you a better, I mean, if Google's still around at that time that y'all see this video, go Google the days for DeRidder, Louisiana that are below freezing throughout a year. But I mean, if I'm guessing through January, February, because that's usually our 2 coldest months of the year, I'm gonna say there's like 14 days. But anyway, so today's video we're gonna be talking about kicker trees, turn trees, and everything like that, as I done described. We're gonna wait till we get a little bit better set up to show y'all this, and hopefully learn y'all a little something today. Alright, so we're going to start our segment on the kicker tree situation we got here. Had a guy comment the other day asking what we done with them, so I told him to just do a video. It's easier to explain and try and type it and give you definitions that you probably aren't going to understand. Right here is not a very good explanation. He's actually cleaning up a row. We're still doing our second thinning. You can see it's rather small. You can see the small diameter timber that's standing. That's where I've still got to cut. And you can see down through here where I have already cut and removed all of the, or most of the small whippy timber. But well, y'all saw him turning out of the down row. This is a down row right here. This is what we call, some people call them lanes or whatever. For me, for how we're going to refer to it, this is a down row. This row that is running 90 degrees to those rows and is a little, you can see how this is a little wider. Here at track cutter back here kicking in reverse. This is what is called an access row. So you got down rows and you got accesses. Down rows are the way the trees are planted. Access rows, if you follow this up through there, it leads you, it's like your main skid corridor. It leads you back to your loader. Listen. Y'all hear that? Had the eliminator kicking it, son. So as he skids a row, he skids wood off of this down row here. You can see this tree right here. It's got a little bit of a skin around the bottom of it. Now, 2 things here. I made the access a little wider than what we typically would. One, because it's wet and you can move over here, then move over there, and then skid here, then back over here. You can move around and keep walking your row access row, you can keep walking it down. You might actually get to watch him do a really good presentation of a kicker tree right there. But basically, a kicker tree is the tree that is on the corner of your row that meets your down row and your access together. And it is the tree that the skidder, when he's bringing his wood up the down row, that the tree is going to get, the trees that the skidder is dragging behind him will lean against this tree right here. And as y'all see, as a result, it will skin some of the bark off of it. There is no way to get around this unless you point or shoot your rows at a 45-degree angle off of the access, and you can't always do that because the way they're planted, you have to lay your access rows to be the most efficient way to get your timber, shortest route basically, to get your timber from the ground to the loader to be processed. That's where it takes a lot of planning with a thinning organization versus a clear cut. I mean, shoot, you clear cutting and you just going along through there and you're like, oh, hey, I can shoot straight across here and save like a ton of time. You know, kind of like that. I just saved a bunch of money on my Geico car insurance. You know, it's something like that. You see a shortcut and you can take it. With a thinning operation, you're only allowed, you know, like in this stuff here, we actually have several access points because of the way it's called contour planted. The contour of the slope of the land, they plant the trees with the slope of the land, and so you got like whoop-de-whoops and whoop-de-don'ts, and it can be very confusing because like these rows are running this way, and then over here on the other side of the hill I got rows running the same way my access is running, and then over here behind the cutter I got rows running like kind of like this way. It's just, it does some weird stuff sometimes. I wish I had the drone. I could put it in the air and show y'all really good. I can show y'all in the computer on the cutter before we go back to work. I'll show y'all that. But anyway, you only have so many access points that you can put on a track when you're thinning it, because basically you're just clear cutting a strip across there when you're cutting your access rows. So you have to minimize your access rows to make the timber company happy and everything. So the way most of our rows end up falling out, they run on 90-degree angles. Again, I understand there's other techniques that you can do that would make it work a little bit different. They call it hockey stick logging. It's gonna be a pretty good shot right there. Y'all see that tree? It's getting right up to it. Because the access is a little bit wider, we're not necessarily going to have any kicker trees, so to speak. So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves there. But you can do what they call hockey stick logging, where you got your straight row like this, and then down here at the end you do like the length of this pile of wood, you like 45 it into your access. You got that, but you still end up with some skint trees over there on your side where you're turning to, especially if it's a long turn or long wood. You still end up with some skint trees. Just the nature of it, you're gonna get some skint trees. Turn y'all this way so y'all not so much in the sun, if I don't fall down in the bushes. But anyway, you're trying not to skin any timber as you're working. But those one corner trees, they're going to get skinned. Now, what happens to them depends on the degree that they get skinned. We can, if I remember the technical rule book here. So say you have a 6-inch tree and you have a kicker tree that is skint 2 inches around the bottom, that's 3 feet tall, then that becomes a legal kicker tree that you have to cut out of your stand. So back over here at the tree that I was showing y'all a minute ago, as y'all can see, the skin is not over 3 feet high. and it is wider than, you know, 2 inches, but that's like a 10-inch budded tree there. It is wider, but it's not taller than 3 feet. That's usually my basis. Like if it's skint that bad or that wide and it's 3 feet high, I'm usually going to cut that one. Chances are, most especially if it's done in the springtime, that tree, or if it's a slash timber tree, slash pine tree, chances are that tree's not going to make it. So I will cut that tree, because if you don't cut it now, even if it is a perfect log tree, that's why you always try and leave a trash tree on the corner to use as a kicker. Even if it is a log tree though, and you cut it for pulpwood now, it's better for the timber company for you to cut it now if it is skint and you feel it's going to die than it is to leave it and then it die and then it rot and then nobody gets to use it. Then that adds fuel to the ground for forest fires and so on and so on and so on. It's just a chain effect of things. But the biggest thing is that's another stick that I didn't have to make revenue off of. That's another stick that the timber company lost money on. You know, it's everybody. It's a no-win situation. Everybody loses off of it. So, in a nutshell, kicker trees, if they're skint over 3 feet high and usually about that wide, which that there's about 4 inches or so, I usually tend to cut them. If it's a tree that's skint like that one is right there, that one's going to live. I'm going to leave it. It'll heal up on its own whenever they go to cut a log off of that. When they go to clear cut it, they'll just bob the cat face that's going to be on the butt of it down there off, and then they'll make their log out of the tree the rest of the way. And that's another reason why you don't want to leave, you know, a 6 foot high, even if it will live, you don't want to leave a 6 foot high skin, because then when they come in there to cut it, then they got to jump butt that, and that's 6 feet of a, just say a 23, 24 inch diameter log that they just got to throw away then. I mean, that's, you start doing just one of those on every stem that you process for a log throughout the day, and you're moving 100 loads a week, that's a lot of tonnage at the end of the day that you're throwing away. I mean, yeah, you're getting logs out of it, but you're still throwing a crap ton of tonnage away. You probably would have made that money up by just going ahead and cutting that skint tree when it was being thin. So anyway, we cut them if it's too bad. If it's not bad enough like what that one is right there, we leave it. It grows, it heals over on itself, and it grows on to make a pretty log for the timber company. don't know if y'all just saw that, but Mickey just tried to kill us. And he just tried to kill the skidder driver. Telling y'all, that Deliminator is a lifesaver if you work small pulpwood. This is what most of y'all consider first thinning, and this is what we consider, or this is a second thinning. This is average second thinning size diameter wood for us. This is not our, what we would consider good second thinning. I see a lot of people on Facebook and those logging groups, they'll be complaining, oh, look at that trashy shear hand, cutter hand, for those of you that can't figure out shear and cutter from my videos, putting a hardwood in there. But I see lots of people on Facebook fussing over the diameter of their wood. Man, we got some trash we're working, and they're working stuff like this, and they just think it's the world's worst wood ever. No way in hell you would have just de-limbed that bucket of wood. Yeah, it's a bucket, not a grapple. You would have de-limbed that fast and got that much merchandise timber out of it in the end. Yeah, you could have pulled it up to those green tops and sawed it off and been done with it. But think of how much material you're throwing away at the end of the day doing that. That machine right there is the best piece of machinery we've ever bought for our first thinning application. I would even put that above a track cutter. Oop, a little bit smaller, Mickey. Our road ain't never dried up today.